Are you a multi-passionate entrepreneur who's blending a brick and mortar business, an online coaching business, a network marketing business, or maybe even affiliate marketing? And you're trying to figure out how to nail your personal brand in a way that can connect all of them together? It's actually tough to find people in the industry today who are willing to talk about the blend, right? A lot of coaches will teach you how to be a great coach or course creator, but they won't touch network marketing. Or you'll find network marketing coaches who won't touch coaches or course creation, and those people certainly don't want to talk about a brick and mortar business. But if you want to build a rock solid brand, especially if you're blending, that can be a tricky thing to do. So we're going to dissect that today in today's episode. So if you've ever felt multi-passionate or wanted to blend multiple businesses together, you are in the perfect place, my friend. Let's do this. Today, I am here with Diane DeLongchamps, and she stepped into entrepreneurship 20 years ago, never looked back. She's built a global multi-million-dollar business over the last 12 years, helping women step into entrepreneurship. And she teaches a simple strategy to business women that enables them to elegantly influence their prospects and turn complete strangers into enthusiastic, paying customers in an authentic, non-salesy way. She created the Elegant Influence framework for women entrepreneurs who want to stand out from the competition, be seen as an expert, choose who they get to work with, and create the business they dream of. Her mission is to help more women see success in entrepreneurship and have a greater impact in their family, their community, and other people's lives through owning a business they love that also pays them well. If you're looking to have more fun with your business, serve more people, and make more money, you're in for a treat today. So welcome, Diane. We are so excited to have you here.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here, Adrienne.
This is going to be the perfect topic for today. So before we dive into all the good stuff, there may be a couple people in the audience who maybe haven't met you yet. So I would love for them to get to know you a little bit. Could you tell us just a little bit about your entrepreneurial journey and how you found yourself as the expert that you are, focusing on the areas that you focus on?
I can. Yeah, sure. So I was in corporate America for several years, and there was a downturn in the economy. And my husband and I ended up buying a catering company. And we thought it was super fun. We grew it to one of the top catering companies in Denver. I live in Colorado. But then I had kids. And then working all those hours, I was missing them growing up. I wasn't seeing them. I wasn't able to be there for a lot of important moments in their life. And so I started looking for something else. And I was introduced to the business that I'm currently part of about 12 years ago. And I loved it. It was entrepreneurship. It was with a newer company, and it enabled me to do more online, work from home, build a business online. And so I started doing that. And with that came the opportunity to help other women start businesses. And so that's really where I got to where I am now. Is I fell in love with that. I always loved entrepreneurship for me, but then as I saw other women step into entrepreneurship and have the opportunity to really become the person that they were always meant to be, but haven't had a chance to become, I fell in love with that. It was so beautiful just watching women blossom. And so as I learned over my journey how to coach more women and help them see success, that's where kind of this elegant influence training and concept came into being.
Yeah, that's fascinating. Well, what I love about your story, your professional background, I'm sure helped you in business, right? Helped you give the confidence to get started and to jump in. And I know we all tap into our previous background to kind of feed our current situation, right? We all have that ability. But I think it's interesting you mentioned it was when you had kids that everything kind of turned upside down. I know I can relate to that. Like the role that my kids played in my life really fed into me wanting to become an entrepreneur because I wanted that freedom.
Yes.
Right. And I think a lot of people are here for the exact same reason. There might be different things driving that desire for freedom, but for a lot of us, it's our kids. So I can totally relate to that. I can totally see that. So it sounds like it's interesting too, that you had this catering business, like a brick and mortar style business, and an online business opens up a whole new level of freedom in comparison, doesn't it?
Whole new level of freedom. Because when you're a small business owner in a kind of more of a brick and mortar type business, I mean, a lot of times it can be fantastic, but a lot of times you're really at the beck and call of your customers. So you're working, you think you're in control, but you're not really in control.
Yeah. Like your customers and your clients are running the show, basically.
Yeah. And now with the world the way it is, and just it's just so easy to, access the right people if you have the right message and you have the right product and the service and just have that desire.
Yeah, fantastic. And then, so it sounds like you actually, your first kind of dipping your toe into online business was in network marketing. And then you kind of evolved into this coach, if you will.
Yep, yeah. Exactly. So when I first started my network marketing business, I was kind of like, okay, if I could just like maybe supplement my income at the catering company so I don't have to work as many hours, I can work maybe a couple days from home doing this. And then as I grew it and I actually had more women who wanted to be part of the business and wanted to build something of their own, and I started helping them learn how to do that as I, stumbled along learning myself, then I'd be like, okay, I've learned this and I can help you with this now. And yeah, and so it just kind of evolved over time from something that, I thought was just going to be something little to something that I really found a lot of passion in and really grew to be a phenomenal business for me. And then from that, love of coaching women, I've transitioned now, obviously in my network marketing business, I love it, but I also outside of my team help other women in different types of businesses, not just network marketing, but this kind of a process or a thought process of elegant influence really can work for women in any type of business who are, talking with clients. Yeah,
I think that's a fascinating part of your story. And I wanted to point it out because honestly, I've talked to probably thousands of entrepreneurs now, and I would say 75% of them started their journey in network marketing. It's so common for me to see that. But the other thing I notice, I talk with network marketers and I think they're just in network marketing. That's all they got going on. And then shortly into the conversation, they're like, well, so I have this dream of like opening this coaching business and launching a course, right? And I'm like, oh, do ya? So they're blending, right? And then I talk to coaches and course creators, and I think that's all they're doing is focusing on coaching. And a little bit into the conversation, they'll say, so I have this network marketing thing on the side, right? Like everyone seems to be blending lately. And it's fascinating, and you can absolutely do it successfully too.
It is fascinating. And I never really thought about it until a couple of years when I realized like, I love teaching women how to do this. Like, this is so fun for me. Yeah. And it was kind of a transition. So I was like, okay, well, how do I do what I do, but also do this? But when you really start focusing on what you love, it just kind of, it works together.
Yeah.
And network marketing is such a simple way because of the way it's formatted for women who maybe they don't know how to coach, or they don't have their own product, or they don't have their own business to really step into entrepreneurship and then evolve from there.
It's the perfect training ground if you're brand new, honestly.
Yeah, for sure.
If you have a great coach, like in your upline.
Yes.
Perfect training ground. And honestly, like I said, 75% of the people who I've talked to who are very successful in business, they started there, and that's where they started their training. I mean, so it's super common. And I talk to people all the time who are blending, and it's really common. So in either case, whether you're doing one or the other, or you're one of those people blending, I know building influence online is important. And I know a lot of people, when they first get started, they're thinking, I don't have any influence, right? I don't have any influence. I don't have any authority, much less elegant influence. So can you talk to us just a little bit about the role that building influence plays online and how to get started if you feel like you have like none or even negative influence?
None or negative.
Right.
Yeah. So I think the most important thing to do when you want to market effectively is figuring out who your niche is. Like, who is my target audience? And I think for women, we want to be everything to everyone, right? We think we can help everyone because it's just like, it's in our DNA, it's in our nature. Like, we want to help. Sure, I can help you. I can help you. I can help you. And so what happens oftentimes is that our message is really, it's just fuzzy, because we're not niching down into a target audience that we really can best serve. And so people don't understand how we can help them because our message isn't clear. And so the first step really in becoming effective at marketing and becoming an influencer or having influence is to know who your target audience is, to really niche down. And I go into, like in my training, I go down into micro niching, like really getting targeted into that target audience so that you can create a message that hits their pain points, that hits their desires, that helps them understand how you can take them from point A to point B. Right? Because it's really all about the journey of how you can help them see success. Because if they're looking for a solution, they have a problem, right? They have a problem, they're looking for a solution. It's our job to explain to them how we can help them get to where they want to go, how we can help them transform. And the only way we can do that is by having a really targeted niche that we understand and that we can create messaging around. And when you do that, when you understand what people's pain points are and you understand how you can help them and what benefits your products have and how, or your service, and how that will make them feel in the end result, you will begin to be able to influence people because you're not being salesy. You're actually showing them, this is how I can help you, which is what people hear, right? That's what they're always listening for. How is this going to help me? How is this going to benefit me?
Right. Like what's in it for me, right? And I couldn't agree more. I see this all the time. People have really like general marketing. Like I help people lose weight is totally different than I help middle-aged women lose the hard to lose body fat. And I help them lose 20 pounds in the first month. That's totally different, right? All of a sudden, all those women in that age group are listening, right? So super good advice. I love this. So as people are wrapping their head around this, then like, what are some important questions to ask yourself when you're deciding how to niche down or how far to niche down?
Sure. So I think a couple of things to think about when you're niching down. You want to think about your journey. Like, what do I have or what do you have? What experiences do you have? What accomplishment, what things have you accomplished that will resonate with other people that you're talking to, right? With your dream client. Like what is that? Like for me, when I was building my network marketing business, I had sun damage. I was in my early 40s. And so that was like, okay, my target audience for my skincare is women with sun damage who like use baby oil for sunscreen, right? When they were growing up. And then in my target audience for building my business was women like me who worked and who had young kids at home and who wanted more flexibility. Okay, so I was super focused. So when you niche down to that, and you kind of you target in on someone, you can create a really good message. So where do you have some things that people can relate to? You want to think about who you really want to work with. This is your business, right? Like
you can choose who you want to work with. You can choose because there's literally millions or billions of people on social media. You can choose.
You can choose. So choose people. I mean, this is your business. You're going to work really hard at it. Choose people that you enjoy and love working with. That's really important. And then I think a couple other questions to ask yourself are really, when I've come up with my niche. So when I've really decided, okay, these are the people I want to work with. This is why, because they can relate to my story. Then really dig in a little bit deeper and think about, okay, out of these people, who can I niche down a little more into the type of person that could actually best benefit from my product or service, okay? Because if you can really hone in on that person that could best benefit, that could see the most success, then you're going to rock and roll because you're going to, right? Because you're going to understand that audience. They're going to understand you. Your marketing is going to be clear. And then one other question, or that's kind of like 3 in 1, make sure when you decide on this niche, are they problem aware? Like, do they know there's a problem?
Yeah.
Are they open to a solution? Like, are they looking for something? They just need to find the right one. And then are they actually willing and able to pay you for your solution, right? You want to make sure that you have people that can pay for your solution. If your target audience can't pay for your solution, then you're going to have a hard time building a business.
Yeah, absolutely. Great advice. And this all makes so much sense because the last thing you want is for your marketing to sound like it's so watered down that it doesn't catch anyone's interest.
Yes.
It's like vanilla, vanilla, vanilla. You don't want to be another flavor of vanilla. I think I heard this saying once. How does it go? It's better to be someone's shot of vodka than everyone's cup of tea.
Yeah, I love that.
Like be the person that stands out to someone, right? And
yes.
Yeah. And the fun part is whoever it is that you're zeroing in on, you might think like, well, if I get narrow, I know a lot of people think this, if I narrow in too much, do I have enough people to talk to now? Like, look how tiny this little sliver is. But on social media where there's billions of people, a little sliver this big could still be millions of people.
A little sliver that big can be millions of people for sure.
Yeah. Awesome. So once people have kind of gone through that thought process and they've thought about unique life experiences or results they've had, or the ideal person they could get amazing results for, and they're starting to get an idea from there, how do you translate that into super clear messaging? And how does knowing who you're talking to and having clear messaging give you influence? How does that tie together?
Okay. Knowing who you're talking to gives you more influence, because when you can share, when you really understand the problems and you really understand the solution that you can offer them and how that's actually going to make them feel. And then you can also share stories of your clients who you've helped see success and their transformation, their journey to where this other person you're talking to wants to go, right? That's going to, if you can express that in the right way and share that in the right way, that's going to enable them to have their own aha moment. And that's what you want, right? You don't want to, like so many women struggle with sales. Like, I don't want to be a salesperson. You don't have to sell if you can share the story the right way. And if you can help that person have their own aha moment on how this can help them. Like, how can, like, you want them to go, ding, ding, ding. Oh my gosh, she can help me. Like, I need to work with her. Like she can help me get exactly to where I want to go. I think that's a really important part of creating like how to really be an influencer and how to be seen as an expert. You don't have to have years of experience. You just have to really understand your market, how you can help them, how you can serve them, and have a couple really great stories that will resonate with them.
I love that. So it's about telling almost like the hero's journey of like, so-and-so went from a place of struggle to a place of success.
Yep.
Now this next person went from a place of struggle to a place of success. So you're saying if you're the one who's always showing up online and telling these hero stories from struggle to success, over time, people start to view you as the solution to all their problems and a great storyteller. And in doing so, you build influence.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because that's what will make them stop and listen. That's what will stop the scroll. If you have a targeted audience and you have, and I love the hero's journey. I love that whole format. If you can tell a really good journey like that, people like to see that other people struggle with what they struggle with, but they've then been able to see success through your program, through your process, through your product or service, right? And so if you can share those stories, that is what influencers do. Right?
Yeah.
They share stories.
Yeah. So you don't have to be an expert. You just have to be a storyteller.
You have to be a really good storyteller. And then if you can like one of the things, because you asked me kind of like the format of messaging, I always like for people to sit down, like when I'm working with women, I ask them, list the problems of your, sit down, list all the, like just brain dump, list all the problems of your who, what promised result or outcome can you provide to their problem? And how do you actually create that result for them? And then you take that and you kind of put it into just the who, what, how, which I'm sure you've heard, Adrienne, who, what, how, like, who do I help? I help blank, right? You help achieve blank. What can you help them achieve by or with blank, right? What's the process? And so when you take that really simple format and you can have a few different phrases that go to the same thing, right? To use in different marketing or that lead to the same end result. So it's a really simple message, and that's what you want, because people, if you can't make it super simple and really dumb it down and just make it really clear and simple, people get that, I mean, I've been to a gajillion networking events. And like, sometimes I'll listen to someone, I'm like, I have no idea what they just said. Like, I don't know what they do. And so, because they're too, like, they want to give you too much information. So when you're marketing, you really want to make it super simple, super clear, really easy for someone to understand.
Yeah, that's so helpful. So now, and I'm sure you have examples of this. Once people start kind of wrapping their head around this, and maybe for the first time, they start putting out this super clear messaging, and they start putting out these hero journeys, and they start sharing, these stories of transformation. What kind of results are possible? Do you have like clients or team members that you could share some results stories of things that have started happening in their business when they started niching down and getting clear on their marketing and messaging?
Yeah, well, I've seen a lot of women, because I did the same thing though. When I started, I mean, I was just like, great. I mean, I sell skincare. Anyone with skin. Awesome. That's my target market. Like, do you have skin? Okay, great. I can help you. Right. So I think so many women struggle with that. And so what happens and what I've seen with a lot of my team members, but then also just women who are, in some of my programs, who are small business owners or are their own coaches, right? And coaching other women or individuals in different ways. I've seen them grow. I mean, I've seen people grow 30%, 40%, 50%, just within a few months. I've seen a lot of women in network marketing, especially who are, kind of just getting started. I mean, the growth in their business is incredible when they hone in and really create that message so people understand how they can help them.
Yeah. That's incredible. So even within a few months, you can see a major turnaround if you just start applying these principles.
For sure. And you want to apply them in everything you do. You don't want it just to be like, okay, I'm going to apply them here. I mean, when you start doing this, what's beautiful really about it is when you start creating this specific message, you can create an email campaign, and then you can take from that email campaign little nuggets, and you can multi-purpose it on, social media. You can do something on YouTube. You can do something on LinkedIn. You can do it in your stories. So you really can start taking the content that you're creating for the specific target market and reusing it over and over and over again in different formats.
I love that. And I hope for those of you watching, I hope you're really inspired by that, because it couldn't be more true. What I've noticed, there's tons of people who are like, well, what do I do on Facebook? Now, what do I do on Instagram? Now, what do I do on Pinterest? And the answer is, if you have really good marketing works no matter where you put it.
Mm-hmm. It does.
Like, you don't need totally different strategies for every platform.
No.
If you've nailed your marketing.
Mm-hmm. 100%.
You can slice and dice the same story or the same copy or the same content and put it on all the platforms, because good marketing is good marketing and it works no matter where you put it.
Yes, exactly. And I think like some of the things that I work on is and coach on is asking a lot of questions, like sitting down and asking questions that your client would ask, thinking about their pain points. How do you address that? How do you answer that? And as you go through all of that, what are the desired outcomes you can create? When you just go through that and brain dump on the problems and concerns and desires and everything of your client, you're creating content.
Yeah.
I mean, you're creating the stuff that then you can take and just take a little nugget here, take a little nugget here, throw it on social, throw it on Instagram, throw it on Facebook. And it really, because I think that also becomes really overwhelming for people, is like, now I've got this, and now what do I do? And there's so many different, which is beautiful. It's right. It's like evil and good all in one, all the things that we can do to build our businesses. But it can be so overwhelming. Sometimes people just stop.
Yeah. And I see that a lot. And one thing that I hope is encouraging to you guys is you guys are seeing how she zeroes in on these little pain points, on these individual little problems. The more you zero in, like, each one of those tiny little glimpses is a post or a video. And when you think about, you have 365 days a year, that's a lot of people get exhausted feeding the social media, like constantly feeding it. Well, when you give yourself permission to niche down real tiny and to talk about each tiny little pain point, each tiny little moment, you realize you have a ton of stuff to talk about and you're never going to run out of content. And it doesn't have to shut you down. In fact, it could enable you of like, oh, I constantly have stuff to talk about. I don't got to worry about coming up with ideas. Like, I got a million ideas.
Yeah. I think another thing women struggle with, since we're on this topic, is like, kind of going along with like all these ideas is, do I really have value? Is what I have to give really good enough? Do people really care? Yes, they care, because there's someone out there. There are lots of people out there that are struggling with the same thing you're struggling with, that are struggling with the same thing your clients are struggling with. There are people out there that are looking for what you have to offer. And the more you put yourself out there and the more you share just little nuggets that are easily digestible so people understand what you can do for them, the faster your business is going to grow.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And if you follow what Diane is teaching and you niche in and you get more specific on the stuff you're talking about, 90% of people out there are talking, their message is watered down. And they're like, I help people lose weight. I help people get great skin, which is so generic that no one's listening. So if you're the one niching down and getting specific, you're the one they're going to notice. Yeah.
It's going to set you apart from your competition.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So I know the people watching now, they're probably realizing like, good marketing works everywhere. Oh my gosh, I probably have way more to talk about than I thought.
Yep.
Right. But I need some help. Like, I don't want to just dabble in it. I want to nail it. I want to nail my marketing now, because like they're feeling motivated. So I know you have a free gift that could help our audience to nail their marketing. You want to tell us about it?
I do. So I have a free gift that is basically like a worksheet, a workbook for women entrepreneurs. And it's 3 steps to nail your marketing. Okay. And what it does is it kind of takes some of the things that you and I have talked about, hones in on it a little bit deeper, a little bit more into detail, and it's going to help you get crystal clear on your target audience and your marketing message. It's going to, again, work through some things so that you can be seen as an expert and really set yourself apart from the competition. And then it's going to help you create messaging It's going to generate a stream of new happy clients and referrals, because referrals are a big part of our business, you guys. And I think for anyone's business, and again, the more you niche down, even if this doesn't help someone, when they see your message, they're like, wow, I know someone that could really use that. So it is, that again, it's not just for just you connecting with just your prospects. It's all those other people out there that see your things, they hear your clear message, and they're like, I know someone that could use that. And I think that sometimes we forget about the referrals, and that's really an important part of business.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you for offering that. So as you've been watching, for those of you in the audience, if what Diane and I talked about today kind of had you lighting up inside and you're realizing like, this is my next step, this is what I need to do, definitely grab her download, her 3 simple steps. There will be a button somewhere around this video that you can click to grab it. And everything we talked about, there's now a place to write it down, think it through, capture all those ideas and organize them so they're not just bouncing around in your head like a mess. Okay. It's good to organize those thoughts. So grab that download. That's really going to help you to nail your marketing. So thank you so much, Diane, for offering that. Now, I know for the VIP ticket holders, you have an extra special gift. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that one?
I do. So yeah, this is something I really love and am really passionate about, because it's something that a lot of women struggle with. And I know I struggle with for a long time. It's very simple. It's a very simple solution to this struggle. And so it's called the Complete Checklist to Building a Strategic and Powerful Personal Brand. And it goes through a process, does not take very long. And you just need some paper and a pen, and it goes through a process. And I basically help you get really clear on your business brand so that people know how you can help them. Get really clear on your personal brand so people relate to you and like you, and then really integrate your values, like who you are as a human being, so that people trust you and they want to work with you. So it really brings in that know, like, and trust factor, which is so important when you're out there connecting with people, whether it's in person, whether it's over Zoom, whether it's on social media. People need to want to know who you are, not just your business, not just how you help, but really like who you are as a human being.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times that's what's going to bring them in over someone else. Not just, you might have an offer that's maybe similar to someone else, but they really like you because they've gotten to know you, they've gotten to like you, they've gotten to trust you through your branding.
And that's so valuable. Thank you for contributing that, because I know a lot of people, people want to know the person behind the business. They want to know, like, is this person a good human? Like, do I like them? Do I like who they are as a person? And so that's so valuable. And I think that's the key, honestly, to not only building influence, but like you said, elegant influence, where people, not only do they trust you as an influencer and as an expert, they like you as a human too.
Yes.
Yeah. And they kind of just want to hang around you and be near you and
yeah, exactly.
be in your world, and cross paths. And so, you guys definitely scoop that up. If you're not a VIP ticket holder yet, what are you waiting for? Grab that VIP ticket, because there's all these extra gifts, extra training, and of course, lifetime access to all these amazing interviews as well. So thank you so much.
Amazing job on that, Adrienne. Your VIP, all that's going to be so fantastic.
I can't wait to see, honestly, you guys, we want to see people have the biggest breakthroughs they've had because of this event. Like, all of the speakers, we're all rooting for you. Yes. Like, we're obsessed with you guys getting results. And I know Diane is obsessed as well. So thank you for joining us today, Diane. We so enjoyed.
You've been listening to the Impactful Entrepreneurs Show with Adrienne Hill, where we support coaches, course creators, and network and affiliate marketers to translate their big picture vision into actionable plans to build out their business efficiently. If you love our show, we invite you to visit buildalifebydesign.com to join the conversation, access the show notes, and discover more helpful resources. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, review, and share. Thank you for listening.